Hey, I'm Tony Roach. When it comes to ice safety, there's some key elements that I always have on me or with us. When we're checking ice conditions, I fish a wide variety of different bodies of water, and ice conditions can change in an instant. We're sitting on a lake right now. It's early ice conditions, but regardless if it's early ice all the way through late ice, it's always good to have a few key items. One obviously is a chisel or a spud bar. It's a Rapala chisel. What's nice about this is it's got a little armband on it. I like to actually throw it out in front of me a little bit. I know exactly how much ice is out in front of me. If I've got this, it's about an arm's length. You know, after a few cracks out in front of me, I know that if I'm not seeing water, I've got plenty of safe ice underneath me. A float suit is essential. I wear a float suit all season long. A float is going to keep you buoyant. Obviously, if you go through the ice, you have a mishap. You know, but in addition to a float suit, you know, it's really, really important to have ice picks with you. You know, the float suit will allow you to float, but you've got to be able to get your way out of the ice. That's the essential part about having picks. Really, really important addition to having the float suit on. You know, especially on days like this where you don't have any snow on the ice, it's extremely hard to get out of those situations if you don't have the picks on you. You know, it's really nice on a season like this where you don't have a lot of snow. You can really see these ice changes, whether it's a different ice pack like we have now. This is ice that had formed a few weeks ago. The wind kept it open, and then we got a few cold nights. Lo and behold, this is another ice pack. So, you know, as I get into a different ice sheet, you know, sometimes it's not even this large or even this obvious. Sometimes it's a small beaver run. It could be a spring. Especially when you get snow cover on the ice, it's extremely hard to see that difference between ice packs or those thin spots. That's why it's so important to have that chisel or spud bar out in front of you so I can stab that ice and I can make certain that every inch of that ice that I'm walking on is good solid ice. You know, a good rule of thumb as far as ice thickness, 4 inches for walking out. I like 5 to 6 inches minimum for snowmobile or ATV. 8 to 10 for either bigger UTVs, small vehicles, even small trucks. And then as far as trucks or larger vehicles, you're talking 12 inches or more. That's a good rule of thumb. Now, color of ice makes a big difference as well. You could have some real milky ice that's a little bit thicker, but it doesn't have the tensile strength that a real good black sheet of ice has. So those are ice thicknesses that I go by and that are kind of a rule of thumb. They're published by, you know, DNR offices. But for me, I err on the side of caution. I like a little bit thicker ice, especially for driving vehicles, and I always am checking ice conditions. This is something that I'm doing all season long. Starts with a spud bar, especially when I'm walking on new bodies of water, and then it just continues throughout the season, wearing the float suit, wearing the picks, and then drilling holes. We're always checking ice, and never just assume that the ice is good everywhere you go.